For Progressive Voices, I'm John Sinton, and this is a turning point. Today, backlash. I was on the phone with my clear-eyed brother in the hours following the assassination of Brian Thompson, the late CEO of United Healthcare. As I was decrying what at the time looked like a professional hit, my brother was the first person I heard expressing the backlash against monopolistic insurance companies, backlash which has overtaken all forms of media in the interceding days. I was still on the page where we mourn for an apparently decent family man whose wife and two boys are now without husband and father. But my brother, like a large swath of Americans who have also had Kafka-esque experiences with big insurance, had jumped past pity and landed squarely on retribution. During my time fighting an aggressive cancer, I had very little out-of-pocket expense. There was never any trouble with the insurance company, and later in the year, when I crossed the age threshold and entered the Medicare rolls, likewise, there was never much trouble getting prior authorization, nor were any claims denied. Now, I assume my experience was exceptional because there are a lot of very angry people out there who hope that this apparent revenge killing will result in actual insurance company reform. In some ways, this moment is a true test of the self-proclaimed populists symbolized by the president-elect. He spent his first term trying to destroy the Affordable Care Act without the replacement that he has alluded to for the last 8 years, and when confronted during election season said only that a plan was in the works. Well, that sounds a lot like Infrastructure Week to me. Still, if the new Republican Party actually has concern for those at the lower end of the socioeconomic scale, those who, according to all reports, are the ones most likely to be subject to denial, delays, and defenses of big insurance, this tipping point moment will be their crucible. At this writing, police appear to have caught up with the perpetrator in Altoona, Pennsylvania. That was inevitable, but the authorities ran into a few hurdles as the shooter quickly achieved underdog or folklore status to the degree that a woman who stayed at the same New York City hostel reportedly told police she didn't get a good look at him because United Healthcare had denied her new glasses. The always well-researched Doug Porter did some legwork for us. Quote, the New York Times ran with the headline, "Torrent of Hate for Health Insurance Industry Follows CEO's Killing," a phenomena they could pick up on earlier by visiting a couple of infusion centers had they wished. The author Joyce Carol Oates weighed in on social media after an initial version of the story was published, saying that the outpouring of negativity is, quote, better described as cries from the heart of a deeply wounded and betrayed country. Hundreds of thousands of Americans shamelessly exploited by healthcare insurers reacting to a single act of violence against just one of their multi-millionaire executives, unquote. The shooting also prompted patients and family members to weigh in publicly, sharing wrenching horror stories of insurance claim reimbursement, stagnation, and denials, painful recountings of insurance company interactions that have become all too familiar in a nation facing a healthcare crisis. Prominent healthcare consultant John Paracol had this to say, quote, based on my experience and observations, healthcare can be reformed, but in part, it requires that the super rich help out a lot more by paying taxes into the system. Would Musk or Bezos miss a few $1 billion? No, but the Trumpers are going to cut taxes for the rich. Again, they are doing this to destroy the medical system we have, as imperfect as it is, because of their twisted ideology, and they say so out loud. One thing everyone has to deal with is the awful truth that every insurance-based or socialized medical system has to make choices. Some people die because a rare or uncommon condition costs too much money that could be used to help 1,000 mothers have safer pregnancies, etc. Someone else makes the choice, insurance or government employee, and it affects us personally. We scream loud. That's one of the reasons things don't get fixed. The exception makes for great TV outrage while America is behind Botswana for maternal deaths in childhood. It's complicated, Paracol concludes. And from ProPublica, quote, more than 200 million Americans are covered by private health insurance, but data from state and federal regulators shows that insurers reject about 1 in 7 claims for treatment. Many people faced with fighting insurance companies simply give up. One study found that Americans file formal appeals only 0.1% of claims that are denied by insurers under the Affordable Care Act, unquote. The National Institutes of Health point out that most denials are a form of unqualified medical practice, and the trend is toward more denials, not fewer. For Progressive Voices, I'm John Sinton.
Go to the on-demand section of progressivevoices.com or the PV app and look for A Turning Point. PV brings you the best progressive audio and video in one free stream. Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Randy Rhodes, David Packman, Brad Friedman, and more. Search Progressive Voices on the TuneIn app, download the free Progressive Voices app, or go to progressivevoices.com.